said Pino the ragdoll.
I
Sighed the other toys.
Only 2 more hours?
What did he say?
Asked Pronto, the telephone. He was a little deaf, and one always had to tell him things twice.
It's only 2 more hours until the little boy comes home from kindergarten.
Explained Knuddel, the cuddly cushion.
Oh no,
Sighed Pronto.
only 2 more hours.
Oh, come on, you're all acting like if it was the end of the world. It's only a little boy's birthday.
Said Jumping Jack.
Come on, Roller, come on. Let's ride another round. I don't want to.
Said Roller the skateboard.
What's wrong?
Asked Pronto again.
Roller the skateboard doesn't want to do a round with Jumping Jack.
Explained Knuddel.
You can say that again.
Said Pronto.
And you? What's up with you, Pino? Won't you at least play with me?
Leave me alone.
Said Pino.
Just look at that big sad heap. You can't get over the fact that your days as his favorite toy are over.
Said Jumping Jack.
Game over. Game over.
Peeped Charlie Chip.
What does he mean?
Asked Pronto.
Game over means just that. The game is over.
Translated Knuddel the cushion.
Charlie Chip is right for once. It really is game over for Pino. He'll soon end up in the trash.
Now stop annoying him. It's going to be different for all of us after today. Not just for Pino.
I don't understand it. Different? What do you mean?
It's the little boy's birthday, so we'll be getting a new toy.
Knuddel explained patiently.
And then the little boy will only play with his new toy. And we'll be left lying in the corner.
Roller said fearfully.
Why should it be a new toy? Maybe the boy will get something quite different. New shorts and new trousers or something practical.
Said Pronto amusingly.
That's nonsense. His Aunt Jen will give him something like that. She has no imagination. But his parents will give him something to play with.
Jumping Jack explained.
But why should they when he has us? He doesn't need any toys.
Said the building blocks.
Exactly. And he especially has me. I mean, when I really think about it, I just can't believe that he'd like a new toy better than me. After all, he can't go to sleep without me.
Aha! You're the only one who believes that. He won't even look at you anymore. And his mother will use the opportunity to throw you away. She always says that you're dirty and unenergetic.
Game over. Game over.
The doorbell rang loudly.
There it is.
Whispered Pino. The little boy didn't come near the nursery. He immediately ran into the living room where the birthday table was laid, and his parents were waiting for him. The toys also crept quietly into the living room.
Oh!
There are so many presents that could be just things to wear in them. The big package over there, the one with the bows, looks very much like a toy.
And indeed, as the little boy opened the package, he pulled out a brand new baby doll.
Ah, that thing looks really ugly.
Grunted Roller.
There's no way he could love that doll.
Explained Pino, and he breathed lightly.
There's no way of knowing exactly. But there's one thing I can tell you. That thing looks as if it's really going to get on our nerves.
Said Knuddel. Pronto had been holding his receiver out at an arm's length so as not to miss anything.
More on our nerves? You mean more than Jumping Jack?
He asked, and then the new toy promptly started to scream. It somehow bothered Jumping Jack. He couldn't stand it. He then crept back into his box. When the little boy finally sat down to eat cake, the toys returned to the nursery.
And the alarm.
Said Charlie Chip.
That little monster won't be of any danger to us.
His friend nodded relieved. And for the first time that day, their good spirits rose and they started to play. Pino helped the building blocks build a wonderful tower. and as they finished, the new toy came into the room.
Hey, Pepper, which one of you is Pino?
She shrieked in that horrible baby voice. Everyone looked at Pino.
Oh, it's you! Your days as his favorite toy are done for! The little boy has nothing to worry about me from now on!
Pamper started to shriek,
Show your trap.
said Jumping Jack angrily, turning on her.
Game over! Game over! Game over! Nothing!
Laughed Pamper,
I'm just getting started!
and then she knocked the tower over,
Ow! Ow! Ow!
cried the building blocks,
That stupid thing destroyed my tower.
said Pino.
Oh dear, things could get hard around here.
Stop annoying us at once. Otherwise, you're gonna get it from us.
I'm a baby, and babies are allowed to do anything! Just you wait and see!
At that moment, the little boy came into the nursery, because even on birthdays, there's a time to go to bed. He heard his new toy crying, and he immediately picked it up,
See? What did I tell you?
grinned Pamper at Pino triumphantly.
If I was in your position, I'd disappear on my own free will before they threw me out!
Without even looking at Pino, his old favorite doll, the little boy took Pamper with him to bed. Pino was left weeping quietly on his own.
He didn't even look at me. Ever since I lived here, I was allowed to sleep with him every night.
His friends would love to join him, but Knuddel thought it would be better to sympathize with him.
I have an idea! Let's look at my game instructions on how to defeat an enemy!
We don't need any game instructions for that.
Exclaimed the building blocks.
We'll throw ourselves at its head. All of us at once. And if that doesn't work, I'll ride over it.
Roller added,
I could cut it open with my jumping spring.
grinned Jumping Jack.
Or I'll strangle him with my telephone cord.
Stop this now!
Scolded Knuddel.
You've all gone crazy! We'll talk to Pamper first thing in the morning. He is bound to listen to reason.
The toys looked rather skeptical,
What a pity.
murmured Jumping Jack. Pino wasn't convinced either. His tears couldn't stop falling. But the toys were tired of all the sympathizing, and one by one they fell asleep except for Pino. He felt deserted.
That baby is right. Nobody loves me anymore. I'm just a nuisance. They probably all wish I was no longer here.
Pino decided to run away and never return. So he packed his bundle and scrambled out the window. It was dark outside. Everyone was asleep. Pino was all alone on the street.
The others will see how they do without me. The little boy will also see what taking that awful thing to bed will bring him. That eternal noise will get on his nerves. But then, there won't be Pino anymore when you can't sleep or are afraid of the dark. That's just how it will be.
Thinking so hard and trying to build up his courage, he hadn't noticed where he was going. He kept going deeper into the city.
Hey! That's rude for you to throw a banana peel like that.
Hey, look, Mumps. I think he's just right for us. From the look of him, he should have landed here ages ago.
Can we snatch him?
Asked Mumps. Pino stared in shock.
So stop it. I've done nothing to you.
The streetlight leaned curiously to see what was happening.
Do you want to get him?
Mamps asked her brother.
As much as I hate to say so, I'd love to have him, but I'm only allowed to take recyclable garbage. And this one could definitely not be used again. He belongs to you, sister.
Okay then, come on, little one. Up into the garbage can and off to the garbage disposal.
Laughed Mamps.
Don't carry on like that. It's very comfortable up here with us.
Pino is paralyzed with shock as he heard the garbage cans talking. And now, the rats were coming closer. While considering whether to start nibbling at him at once, or to play a bit of cat and mouse with him, the streetlight took pity on poor Pino.
Hurry up, little one, before the rats get their teeth stuck into you.
Gee whiz, where have I ended up?
He sobbed, and he looked all around him.
They were alright. I really do belong in the garbage.
Pino was afraid, because he left his bundle behind. He had nothing to eat or drink, and his stomach's growling louder and louder, which made things even worse.
I want to go back to Knuddel and Pronto and Roller and Charlie Chip and Jumping Jack.
Desperately, he fell onto an old and dilapidated couch that had been put out.
If I had only stayed home, even if the little boy didn't love me as much as before, but the others could still love me.
He slowly cried himself to sleep. The next morning, the toys were all rubbing their sleepy eyes. An unknown noise had woken them up. Yesterday, it was the little boy's birthday, and a new toy came to join them. You can hear that.
Can't you at least shut up in the early morning?
Said Roller empathetically.
You still haven't come on! Babies are allowed to cry whenever they want to!
Grinned Pamper.
You're not crying, you're screaming.
Moaned Pronto.
You've got a lot to learn, Pamper.
Interceded Knuddel.
You belong to us now, whether we like it or not. We have to be considerate of one another.
I don't have to be considerate to anyone! If I complain like you, the little boy will throw you all out!
Said Pamper. The others all moaned.
Where's Pino?
They all started to look around.
When I feel bad, I creep back in my box and close the lid. But as Pino doesn't have a box, maybe he's crept under the bed.
Roller surfed under the bed.
He's not here. Excuse me, is Pino with you in your box?
Jumping Jack asked the building blocks.
No, he's not here with us either! His Pino has disappeared. Oh dear, I think he's run away. And good thing too! He disturbed me all night long with his crying!
That's a joke coming from you.
He's only thinly dressed. He'll catch a cold out there. And apart from that, he doesn't know anyone out there.
Said Knuddel troubledly.
Now take it slow. Maybe he's hidden himself to make us worry. We should wait a little longer.
But waiting was harder than the toys could have imagined. And apart from that, Pamper didn't stop getting on their nerves.
6 little toys! They were little fools! Pino ran away, and there were only 5! 5 little toys! They were
That's enough! Now shut up, you little backbiter!
Yelled Knuddel furiously, and he was rarely angry.
I've had it.
Said Roller finally.
I can't stand it anymore just sitting around. I'm gonna go out and find Pino.
Yes, you're right! We have to find it! Right there!
The others all agreed.
Hey, Charlie Chip, if you have an experience with chases and adventures and whatever, you take over the lead.
Charlie Chip was flattered. He could finally show the others what was in him.
I'm glad to help. I know all the traps we could bump into on the way, and all the tricks to escape from a dangerous situation.
Charlie Chip switched himself on.
Alright,
Said Knuddel.
then off you go. I'll stay here in case Pino shows up. But Pronto must go with you, so we can keep in contact.
I have to go along as well. After all, I'm the only one who can scare those criminals that are holding Pino.
But
Why holding? Who do you think captured Pino?
Asked the building blocks.
You'll never know.
Exclaimed Jumping Jack.
And what about me?
Asked Pamper.
And you'll stay here.
Will stay here.
Your screaming is the last thing we need. Anyway, you're happy that Pino disappeared. You said it yourself.
But then I'm here all alone with no one to play with me.
Pamper complained.
What you really mean is no one to annoy you. Nuh-uh, you stay here.
Pamper started howling. But the toys just ignored it. Knuddel the cuddly cushion accompanied his friends to the front door.
Hop on.
Commanded Roller. Pronto, Charlie Chip, and Jumping Jack jumped on and took their places.
Be careful!
Called Knuddel as the train took off.
I don't see any tracks.
Said Roller.
Where should we start looking?
When you run away, you always run straight ahead. So that is what we should do.
They soon arrived at the garbage cans.
Do you think they know anything?
Jumping Jack asked.
In my games, you always have to ask.
Said Charlie Chip.
We have to follow every clue.
So, let's ask them then.
Said Roller, and they skated to the garbage cans.
Hey there, have you seen Pino?
Pino, who could that be?
Said Mumph.
Well, he's the rather tatty ragdoll.
The one with the striped cap?
Asked Mamph.
Yes, that's him!
Cried the excited toys.
Pino. Pino is his name.
Laughed the garbage cans.
We found him. That makes 867 points.
Peeped Charlie Chip.
They're really looking for him.
Said Mumph.
Stop that and tell us where he went!
Scolded Jumping Jack as he started to lose patience. The garbage cans just kept on laughing.
Once they start, it's hard to stop them.
Grinned the rat who has been observing everything.
How about you? Maybe you know where Pino has gone.
Asked Roller.
I don't know. Really, I have no idea. He ran away from us.
The toys looked helplessly at one another.
And now?
Asked Pronto.
We've got to try anyway to reach our solution. That means go right, go left, and straight ahead.
Then let's go right first.
Roller decided. They went right, but there was no Pino to be found. Then they went left. Still no Pino. Then straight ahead. And while the toys were searching and searching and growing more and more tired, Pino slowly awoke. He then rubbed his eyes.
Did I have a bad dream last night? What happened was... Hey, where are you all?
He looked around. He was sitting on an old sofa in a junkyard. He hadn't dreamt it. It was all real. And the fear came back with the memory.
Oh, well, goodness me, what a pile of mystery we have here.
He heard a sudden racket and looked in fright.
Actually, this is my apartment. It is not very polite of you to stay here overnight without knocking and asking.
Scolded the garden gnome. Pino started crying.
Now, there. Don't start crying. I can imagine what happened. It was your owner's birthday, and you've been thrown away, and you don't know where to go. It's always the same.
Pino nodded.
Come on, tell me about it. Then you'll feel better. You'll see. By the way, my name is Michelle.
And so, Pino told them about his friends and the birthday and the new toy.
Oh dear, that's bad,
said Mitchell.
I understand you well. My owners threw me away too, but then I settled down to live here in a junkyard. It's not that bad either. Come on, I'll show you everything. If you like it here, you can stay by me. I could use somebody to give me a hand.
Slowly, Pino stopped sobbing and followed Mitchell around. He proudly showed him his territory. In spite of his problems, Pino found everything exciting. But to live here forever, that was something he just couldn't imagine.
This may be alright for you.
He said to Mitchell.
You're used to being in the junkyard, but what about me?
Well, then I don't know either,
said Mitchell.
Come on, keep your chin up. Let's think about where else we could put you up. I'm sure to think of something.
Depressingly, Pino went against an old car wreck. In the meantime, Pino's friends became more and more desperate. They searched the whole area, but didn't find Pino.
Game over.
What do you mean, game over?
Asked the roller.
Just that. We've lost. Game over. The end. Indeed. No points.
I'll go home.
Said Pronto.
Maybe Pino just found the way and Knuddel has found him.
Have you found him?
Asked an agitated Knuddel at the other end of the line.
No, just as you does. We presume that he's not with you.
No,
answered Knuddel sadly.
He's not here,
Oh dear.
Said Pronto.
What do you want to do now?
Well, it looks like we'll have to break off the search. He'll be drunk soon.
Said Pronto wearily. Knuddel sadly hung up the receiver.
I didn't find him.
Asked Pamper. Knuddel shook his head.
And now do you want to make me feel guilty?
Leave me alone.
The toys got onto the skateboard for the last time, and sadly, they started homeward.
Hey, you there!
Called the gray rat.
You're the ones who are looking for that raggedy bundle.
How do you know that?
Asked Jumping Jack skeptically.
It was living near the garbage cans.
Said the gray rat.
So what?
Asked Tim Roller.
They didn't know anything either.
But I do, and you would too if you would only open your ears.
The toys stare in surprise.
The telephone who is with you is not hearing anything.
Wondered the gray rat.
Well, I'm a little hard of hearing.
The rat is right. I can hear Pino. Pino. Pino.
Screamed Jumping Jack loudly and excitedly.
Pino.
If I'm not mistaken, somebody's calling you.
Said Mitchell.
Calling me?
Pino asked.
That can't be. Who's calling me?
Pino. 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 Pino.
Jumping Jack, Roller, Pronto, Charlie Ship. How did you get here? Oh, this is great.
Now don't start crying again.
said Mitchell, obviously touched. Roller jumped happily in the air. They all tumbled around wildly, and no one cared.
Do you live here now?
It looks really interesting.
Stated Jumping Jack, whose head was at the highest extension so they could check out the area.
You could have ended up somewhere worse.
Does that mean you think I should stay here? Do you really don't want me to come back with you?
But
Of course we do.
We do.
Do you still want to?
to?
If I'm still loved,
Of course. That's why we came looking for you.
But what about Pamper?
Asked Pronto.
I'll punch him in the mouth if he screams again or annoys Pino.
Promised Jumping Jack.
That's right. Defend yourselves. Don't take anything lying down. It's a pity that you're going, though, Pino. But then all children have birthdays sometimes. And maybe some other thrown away toy will pass by me. Pronto!
He's coming. We have him.
Called Pronto through the phone to Knuddel the cushion.
What? I'm hoping for the best.
Said Mitchell.
All aboard!
Ordered Roller. Pino hopped onto the skateboard with the others, and off they went. Knuddel was waiting at the front door. He hugged Pino happily. Pamper came up to the others carefully.
Hey, Pino.
Pamper said in an unusually quiet voice.
Leave Pino alone!
Jumping Jack spat it at him immediately.
you know what?
Pino said generously to his friends.
It's not really Pamper's fault that the little boy takes him to bed with him. I'll just have to get used to the fact that he loves someone else besides me. But
He added and looked mysteriously at Pamper.
next year there'll be another birthday. And we'll be getting a new toy then. You'll see.